What questions do you have? It's now time for you to create some OKRs. Okay, so we've got how many people? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Okay, so I think we've got 4 groups. We don't need 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 4. And your job in the next 20 minutes is to come up with an objective and 3 key results for TAHRA. We want to amp up and really help TAHRA rock the world. Now, so I did, like, okay, so let's start with the mission, TAHRA. And let's pull this off the website. The mission is to promote the professional development of its members by providing the most essential and comprehensive resources available. So everything we come up with, the objective somehow has got to go, yeah, that would be part of achieving that. I went one level down. Now, this isn't published. I just asked Dixie. I said, Dixie, what's your strategy right now? Well, we've been expanding programming. I guess that would be something like this. Stephanie, you could add, you're on the board, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And when it talks about expanding community partnerships there, like the Manufacturing Alliance, for example, Oklahoma Manufacturing Alliance, we're trying to partner with them to share their vision, share our vision, get members, interconnected and things of that nature. And expand programming is just, we're all about education and educating our members, so different channels, different things we can do to provide other opportunities. And for example, we've got a group that meets that's in job transition, for example.
Yep.
So that's a new program that we've offered.
Excellent. Okay, so this is what we've got. Here is your process that I'm recommending you follow. Every group's going to have some stickies and some markers and a flip chart page.
Hey Rob,
yes.
If you don't mind a shameless plug, Rhonda will have one more program that she wanted to mention that
yes.
we just added.
We just introduced the TAHRA meetup it's a focus group for HRIS or IT professionals. And so that'll be September 12th. Will be the very first one at the Inner Circle Vodka Bar, just right down
Vodka Bar.
here. So
Vodka.
New channels. New channels.
That's thinking outside the box. That's good.
Try to get people talking.
Okay, good. So here's what I want you to do. So follow this process. Do it. I'd like you to do it a minute or so where you're just silent as individuals. People think better when initially I can capture my own thoughts. So think yourself, and then when a minute's up, y'all start writing stickies. Okay. You put one idea per sticky note. Now you're doing it individually, but as you do, and you're all sitting around one of those flip charts, as soon as you write one, you stick it up. So people can see while they're still writing. So so this way we're thinking differently. I'm not necessarily going to write what I just saw you write, okay? But we can feed off of each other. So we're just getting ideas, and I'll have the questions. Actually, the questions are right there in that handout that I gave you. So use those. Fill up the flip chart page. That's your job. Sticky. Everywhere. All right. Then, once you do that, affinity group. Affinity group is another word we're just going, these are kind of talking about the same thing. That's why they're on stickies. So you can kind of move them around till you have little clusters. And then you can either pick the best one of the cluster, or what is this talking about? Let's reword it. Because again, you know the criteria it's got to satisfy. Okay. So you come with that, you narrow it down, you then audit, go back through those 4 criteria and just say, hey, we think this would be a really cool thing for TAHRA to do or to accomplish. Does it meet the criteria as best we understand it? Select the best objective. That's your game plan. What questions do you have? Okay. I'm going to number you off. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1s go here, 2s go there, 3s go there, 4s go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Choice. All right, so who's over here? 1. Okay, 1s. twos, threes, fours. Go scatter. I'm gonna put a timer up here that will give you keep you on track. Since you're inside of 1 minute. All right, so here we go. So all talking silencio. Okay, now here's what I want you to do. I do want you to stop talking, and I want you to simply write what your one objective is now, because we got to say whatever it is, whatever we came up with. So somebody on your team, write it. And then we're going to share it, we're going to audit it together, okay? So, select your objective, go.
Is this where we're writing on here?
Yeah, sure, write it on, there you go, right on the
There you go.
Even if it's not true, I appreciate it.
Okay, so, time's up. Let me have, over here, table, y'all were group group four, what is your objective?
Closest to the board. Create mentoring programs.
Create mentoring program. Okay. All right, group 3, what is your objective?
Become a top 10 membership, or charter. Chapter, yes, thank you.
Become
We can do it in a quarter. We're awesome. We have no fear.
Okay. Group 2, what is your objective?
We want to create a subcommittee that kind of creates smaller committees where members can jump into the committee based on their current HR needs. So if open enrollment's happening, you're in an open enrollment committee.
So
That's a lot of words I just gave you.
create
Is that like the affinity group?
Yeah.
committee
Yeah.
web?
To organize,
Is it a web of committees?
No,
It's
it would
almost
be
like a focus
separate.
group.
So if you're in comp and benefits and you need to do something currently with comp and benefits and you have no idea what you're doing, or you just need to pick brains or do best practices, you can attend.
Okay, focus group
Yes.
it was
structure.
centered around common things like most HR.
Special interest groups is what some other folks
I like
call
that.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so SIG, actually. All right, so create SIG structure.
We didn't know we had a thing.
Okay, and right here. Group 1,
So to create opportunities for internal networking.
create opportunities for internal networking. Okay, now, let's do a little bit of auditing of these together. Okay. Those are our criteria again. Which ones, as they're currently written, which ones pass or fail based on which criteria?
I have a question on the second one. Does that tie back into the professional development if we're a top 10 chapter? Is a question.
There's actually some specifics about what makes a top 10 chapter a top 10 chapter, right? I mean, some very hard numbers there.
We do believe that membership is one component of it, and it increases in membership is a component of that as well.
And percentage of the certifications.
And certified members.
Okay. So I tell you what, we're going to start with the top one, create mentoring program. How does it, now by the way, here's the, let me shift hats for one moment. what I've found about OKRs and actually really embracing this is that we get ruthless in a really good way. Okay? We actually just are really, we're ruthless about measurement, but it's not about people. We're all doing that. That's not a question. But we're going to have a heart. It either met what we needed or it didn't. That's fine. That's how you learn. Oh, it didn't. Okay. That's tough for some folks, particularly after, gosh, we like each other and this is fun. Okay? And when we say create mentoring program, does that connect to the larger ends? What were the larger ends?
Good professional.
Expand programs.
To expanding programming, expanding partnerships. It doesn't have to connect to all of them. Okay, by the way, but you have to be able to tie a line somewhere up all the way to mission. Okay, so does it connect to upper? Check. Yes, it does. Okay. Is it significant? Does it really move the needle? By the way, I don't have when I'm asking that, I don't have an answer. I'm not trying to direct you to say yes or no. I don't mean that. But I am asking you to actually think about the question. And then actually go, and the answer is, I'm asking all these in a binary fashion. It either is significant or, not really.
I say yes because it's going back to the mission of promoting the professional development of our members.
Okay.
And mentoring goes both ways. So you're bringing in people new to our organization or new to HR, promoting them, increasing their value, their knowledge.
Okay. Okay.
You're giving the seniors a reason to stick around.
Okay. What about stretching?
Well, stretch, right now we don't have them. It's a stretch goal just to get started.
And I know it's been discussed before.
It has been discussed before. Okay.
It hasn't happened.
Okay. Is it doable in a quarter?
It's definitely doable in a quarter.
How many members we got? 500, you said?
It's like 600 or so.
Shoot, we can knock that out in a day, right?
Okay.
Even if it was a subset, like who would like to participate in this program?
Yeah.
As a mentor or mentee?
So we think this one passes, and that's the format that actually you would take to any objective that you come up with. Is you just go back and start asking these questions.
That quarter's then us out.
And then you really try to come up with some answers that you can defend. So in fact, if you say, if we achieve this objective, is real business value created? All right, then what's the business value? I didn't say, is it nice, is it fun, do we feel good? But we know that by creating a mentoring program, chapters that do that exponentially increase their membership, exponentially increase their impact in the community. If you go, now you can go check, you may say, I don't know, okay, let's go get some data. But then you've got to come back and again say, man, it will be good, it'll be okay. It's not really worth our time. Because again, an OKR is going to take every bit of extra energy you have. You've got your job, and then you have your discretionary time. Your discretionary time is what goes on this. And it's going to take every bit of it. So, a couple of these others, and I'll just point out, this is partly for time-based. What's the challenge with becoming a top 10? Quarter. You're not going to do it.
Among some others that we're starting to rethink.
But here's one of the things that I'm finding. This is oftentimes, it was yesterday actually, we started off by talking quarter, but it really where they initially went. Yesterday I was working with a group of safety professionals within an E&P company, exploration and production. They have oil leases, they drill, or have somebody else come in and drill, but they produce. So that's what we know of as an oil company. I was working with the safety department to come up with OKRs. Initially, they really started, as they kind of got into it and learned the language, they started defining big picture stuff. And in fact, they said, we want, and this was good, what I did was like, everybody was like, oh, wow, that is awesome. They want to change this stodgy old, it's been around a while, oil company, into a learning organization. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, when they said it, it's like, I did the little gulp right with like, really? That's what a really good objective should do for you. It's like, oh, wow, that moves the needle. Now, immediately, what's the problem? That's not even
Or quarter.
that's not even a quarterly or an annual objective. That's long term. Now, so what did we do when you find that where your real energy is something that's multi-year? Okay, let's back it up. How can we turn this into an annual objective this year? If it's, let's say this takes typically 3 years to do. So what would we do this year? What would be an annual move in this way? And then we break it down to quarterly. What would knock the socks off in this quarter? Okay. Create special interest group structure. Any thoughts relative to our criteria here? Connected to larger ends. Yes. Significant. Stretching. It doesn't really require us to come together in ways that we haven't come together. Doable in a quarter.
I think so. Yep, good.
Let's get it started.
So, I mean, so in terms of literally the way we're talking OKRs, that may not be, let's just compare it to the top 10, that may not be long-term more value, but is it in the short term? If we were saying, hey, we need to move forward in this right now, this might be so far our best candidate for a strong objective. Create opportunities for internal networking. What about that?
You're gonna get some of that with this SIG.
Okay.
You get that with, yeah, all of them. You get the mentoring with this thing as well.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yes.
We do.
What's the one problem with this? Oh. Here's a challenge I'm seeing with this. The challenge is it doesn't, at least the way written, it's not significant. I give you opportunities. I mean, we had the opportunity for 60 people to be in this room today. I love you guys who are here. That wasn't a cut there. But you can put out all kinds of opportunities that people never take advantage of. In which case, this would at least need, not to say the core of the idea isn't strong, but the way it's worded doesn't help us in the OKR process. Okay? Now, here's one of the reason I'm doing this. The way you actually understand this stuff is you start playing with it, you start figuring it out. Okay, now, I'm going to give you one or two pieces. I'm going to give you a tiny break after that. We're not going to define the key results, okay? But that would be the place we would go next. We would say, oh, we'll just say this is the one that we would light on. Then, it's almost the same process. Actually, if you're thinking, hey, I want to try this with my group. Well, okay, let's brainstorm possible measures. Now, not this measure and standard. Who knows what the difference between a measure and a standard is? The measure is what we're actually tracking, right? Distance between me and the wall is one measure. 5 feet is the standard, okay? How fast I run is a measure. Can do the 40 in 10 seconds. It's probably my real standard. Okay, so what you do, to do this well, you go through the possible measures first, and you get a collection of those that are in mark plus input is what you want to go for. Go ahead and write them to stickies, just like you're doing, start affinity grouping. Step back from it, cuss and discuss, and just go, hey, this is the ones we think are best. Then go and say, okay, if we want to measure, create SIG structure, number of TAHRA members who are actually doing it, then you go back and say, okay, if that's the measure we want to use for the SIG structure, that's real success for us, then what's that number? And if you say we're around 500 now, is that right? Okay, so a good key result, somebody would toss out, well, it'd be great if 100 people were part of it. What should your answer be?
It should be 100%.
I was going to say, no, if we really do it well, let's get out of the mindset of going for something that we can achieve. Let's get into the mindset of saying, what would excellence look like? And then maybe some 500 because people are sick from time to time, right? But if we had 400 of 500 members who were part of that, would that be superior performance? Let's aim for that. Okay, when we come back from our very short break, which will be right back when the big hand is, Mickey's big hand is pointing up to 12, okay? We're gonna talk about the practice of how you use the OKRs that you develop, because that's half the magic and I only have half an hour to lay it on you. Ready, set, go.